Hi, I'm Lou Cataruzza. I had the opportunity to be interviewed by my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Eva Ritvo, who is hosting Living a Satisfying Life on the new SOS network. The motivation to share my life experience with Dr. Eva are my grandchildren and their children who will be inheriting the challenges of the world we're creating today. My interview explains how I became aware of the science of biology and how I developed a system for anyone who is not happy with how his or her life is unfolding to generate satisfaction on demand. It's taken me a lifetime to get to this awareness, so take a listen. And if it resonates with you, I invite you to participate in helping to grow the initiative. Let us together assure that we and our children's children will be living a satisfying life. Yes, hi.
Hi, Lou. Nice to see you.
It was nice to see you.
Beach settings.
You're in that beach. I'm over here in, I think it's Greece. I have no idea. It looks beautiful though. So this is an interesting idea that we got to know each other for a few months, almost a year.
It's been a while.
I think COVID makes strange friendships occur. I think actually good friendships occur, I think, thanks to this great technology.
But you've won me over.
Well, thank you. I'm glad that
a lot through the pandemic because we connected. I think it's been about a year, Lou.
Yeah.
And for me, 2020 was very challenging year with a lot of personal loss. And you sort of appeared, and you have a very different and I think very enlightening view of the world and how things work, particularly in terms of taking personal responsibility and getting past a victim mindset. And I know for me in the beginning of 2020, when I had the rapid succession of multiple losses in my family and we were in a pandemic, it was easy to feel victimized.
Yeah.
Really appreciate what you've done for me over this time with all the encouragement. You've sent me texts, you've sent me all your gurus, and just helping me change my mindset and to understand that, we can all have a joyful, positive, satisfying life, no matter what the circumstances are. And the circumstances have been challenging for a lot of people. So I really do feel grateful. That we connected, that's thanks to the internet, right? And an article that I had written that inspired you.
That's
and
right.
And I thank you for your consistency. And you have a really nice way of showing up that's really consistent, and that helps people change their mindset. I think, we can all hear something once or twice, but it doesn't really sink in. But you're constantly sending me these videos to watch, and they have a certain bent. So I think that's what we should talk about today. Tell us how you got this mindset that you've got.
I'm listening to you and you're creating gratitude, and I have goosebumps. And so this is what it's all about, our biology. I met you because I'm real clear about the value of understanding and knowing my biology. That the day that I gave my mother a gift for the holiday, and I got the same goosebumps, I got to question that at that moment. I got the question, how does that happen? Why does that happen? And it wasn't until years later that I did some processes. I went through lots of lectures and did that I really understood cause and effect. And that in fact, we are truly a biological being that is affected by the way that we cause things to occur through our mind, through our thinking, through the way that we do things. And then looking at a white paper that Harvard printed that basically said that kindness, gratitude, caring, the act of doing that causes our well-being to occur through the release of these wonderful hormones that we have in there that do that. The 125 different hormones that do all kinds of wonderful things, and some that don't do such nice things. But the thought that understanding that then makes me understand my free will, which then makes me understand how responsible I am for this journey that I have. Then, of course, the motivation is the chaos that we're experiencing throughout the world, the pandemic being one of them. People who are at effect, who are operating from a victim mindset, because somebody has to be responsible for all this, and not understanding it's the way that we perceive the challenge, the way that we perceive that challenge is the way that we get to live either more satisfied or not. That we are constantly, the way that we view things, the way that we position ourselves has us either be stressed, that causes all kinds of horrible things. I just got through a 2-day cleansing fast, and I feel the difference my body's going through. I feel the changes that occur because I also felt prior to that the sluggishness, the deep aging issues that come at my age with either arthritis or other ailments, and that to take responsibility for causing satisfaction through what we learned and what you and I learned is contribution to the betterment of your body, the ability to cause that to occur, the ability to contribute to others so that you create relationships that work, contributing to the way that you do your work from a contributing mindset versus one that wallows in the unfairness of things that people tend to look at. That ends up having a life that is the difference between a life that is joyful and very satisfying to one that is constantly on a daily basis in wonderment. Is it going to get better? Are things, when is my turn coming? And that's the distinction, that's the difference. And I'm here basically to say that I could only share what I have experienced. And it's more than a belief, I don't just believing, I'd like to experience things. This is such a profound experience to understand that you are totally responsible for the way your life unfolds, that you have the ability to harness your power, the energy that you have, to cause your satisfaction on demand, just by simply having a mindset that is contributing to your body, to your mind, to your relationships, to the world, to your job, to everything else. It's a state of being, and it's as simple as that. I'm at that place of figuring out how best can I get it out there to people so that they could just have that experience. It's such a joyful experience.
It's great that you try to make it simple. So
Yeah.
if I can reiterate what I've learned from you over this year, maybe that will, help our listeners. So what I've gotten from you this year is that each of us does have control over how satisfying our life is. And I think the word satisfying is a really important choice because, there's a lot of talk about happiness,
Right.
but happiness is just an emotion. And therefore it's going to be a fleeting experience. Gee, I went to the gym today, I feel really happy. I went shopping today, I went to a concert, I feel very happy. But that's not going to stick, right? Because 3 hours later you weren't at the wherever it made you happy. So that's not a feeling that we should be striving for. I like satisfied because I think that is something that's more substantial. And
Right.
I often think about at the end of my life, will I feel like I'm satisfied? Have I done enough? Have I achieved my potential? And I think that's something that's much more enduring.
Yeah.
And I think that's
Yeah.
the shift that you're trying to get us to make. And the tools that you're giving us are what we all have, which is understanding that the way we feel, even though we perceive that it's something outside of us, it's actually something that changes inside of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that really determines how we feel. When something happens outside, it's neurochemicals, it's hormones, it's our biology that determines how we feel. And that's where I think you're asking people to take control of their life. Don't give control to external events.
That's right. Yeah.
Yourself, and then if something goes wrong, you then feel like a victim. And if something goes right, then that's illusionary too, because it's going to change. You
That's
get
right.
well, then the boss changes and then you don't have a promotion. So what you are trying to encourage all of us to do is to live a satisfied life based on altering our own biology and taking control of our biology and our destiny. So if I want to feel in a good mood or satisfied today, that's entirely upon me. I have everything I need.
That's right.
So that's why you were simply saying that when you were feeling, gee, gosh, I'm aging, then you try to sort of wrestle control back to your biology and
That's
say,
right.
okay, well, if I take this, and this course, then my biology will feel better, and then I'll be able to have a better life. And once a person feels well by sleeping right, eating
That's
right,
right.
being in relationships that nurture you, then it's much easier to then have what you're talking about at your next stage, which is a contributing mindset.
Yeah, so a contributing mindset, it sounds weird to say that because a lot of people question me. I says, I'm always thinking about doing the right thing. Doing the right thing is part of contributing. And then talk about the idea of this unconditional contribution to your life. Understanding that coming from that place where you're kind to yourself, you're kind to others, you have this, you're loving yourself. That process deals with understanding that chatter that goes on in your mind is simply recordings of moments of now that you've made judgments and considerations and all of those things. And through the program that I've developed is understanding that the mindset that stops you from experiencing the opportunity to really have an unconditional contribution to yourself and to others. You're at that place. So this satisfaction operating system is really first understanding your biology, and so your mind-body connection, that idea that the programming that you've created throughout your life, you either allow them to run you, or you get how to understand them, because they're not going to go away, but understand what they're doing when they're doing. That is stepping outside of yourself. It's the you that actually causes to make the choices occur. It's not your mind, it's not your body, it's the you that we talk about. Some people think it's a spiritual experience. I believe strongly that it actually is an unknowing, and for me, that unknowing is a spiritual experience. It's where everything that is possible exists, but you don't know about it. You can't really figure it out. Ministers, priests, scientists, gurus talk about it all day long. They talk about it in the context of consciousness. They talk about all that. And to bring it down to a simple place, there is that you that is able to view yourself doing the things you do. Take it upon yourself to really look at it. How is that contributing to the betterment of my condition? How is that contributing to the betterment of the human condition? How is that contributing? And from that mindset, that contributing mindset, asking those questions, your purpose in this life, from my perspective, is that you're here to be a great worker. You are here for a purpose of making this universe the best it can be. That's why great buildings are created. That's why great inventions are created. It's all about the betterment of the human condition. And the stuff that stops making it better, the petroleum that we put in our cars, that eventually fades away and a new invention occurs. It's always scaling up to making the betterment of the human condition occur. And we are that tool. We're here for that purpose on that journey. So not to acknowledge that, for me, was feeding right into the victim operating system. Then I have all the excuses to complain about how terrible the world is, how terrible everything else is. And I then live that mindset that controls me, that information that I program throughout my life. I'm no longer stepping outside, looking in and saying, are those thoughts contributing to my betterment. That thought is creating stress. That's not betterment. Those thoughts are creating terrible relationships with people because I feel the victim of somebody. My thoughts is that the world doesn't work because I watch a lot of media that tells me that it doesn't work.
So there's a
So
fundamental shift there.
there's a
Right.
fundamental
It's
shift.
a fundamental shift as I understand this. And I agree with you. This can be discussed in a zillion different languages.
That's
And it
right.
almost doesn't matter which paradigm you're looking through.
That's right.
Basically, what I'm hearing you say is that a shift needs to occur from feeling like the world is evil to feeling like the world is good and my role is to make it better.
Well, the world is the world, and my role is to make it better. Good or bad, indifferent, that's, I may have judgments. I certainly don't like certain things that occur. I have a judgment about that. But it is what it is. My body is what it is. And in order to be able to make it the best it can be, because that's all your purpose is to make it everything the best it can be.
Okay.
You're a psychiatrist, and your purpose out there is to really have people get and to understand themselves and to deal with the circumstances and the issues that are going on in their life. And you're doing the best you can do and the best that you are doing. And you evolve as I evolve in whatever we do. And we're constantly aiming higher and higher and higher. And so is the universe. It is expanding at the speed of light. It is constantly growing, and we're just going along for the ride. And we're here with that purpose of making it the best it could be. And that's
beautiful concept, right? A beautiful and simple concept. But I think that most people don't see the world that way.
No, they don't. And that's the dilemma. The dilemma is that when you don't look at it that way, then you separate. Then you create blue and red, and you create, you create issues and problems and all kinds of things. But what I'm getting today is that things are transforming. There are so many guys out like myself out there that are doing what they're doing and communicating this personal enlightenment. And if it wasn't for me having such a satisfying life, if it wasn't for me having that, with lots of circumstances around my life that other people would say, how are you dealing with that? How is that issue in your life, you not being in a terrible state of depression? And so if I didn't feel, honestly, truthfully to myself, that I had understood what my true purpose is, and that all those issues that people talk about are basically challenges to make us better. It is the negative that allows us to get to the positive. You have to know the negative. You have to understand the issue, the problem, to be able to overcome it. That's basically growth. So that's the issue. Now, the issue is, how do you get other people to...
Let's highlight that again, because I think a lot of these things that you keep saying are simple, simple, simple.
Yeah.
Need to be underlined. So what I'm hearing you say is that the things that somebody else might point to in your life and say, gee, that's terrible. How could Lou be in a good mood? You
Right.
look at that exact same event and say, aha, here's an opportunity for me to grow. Here is a challenge presenting itself, and how am I going to grow? And since your whole philosophy is that we're here to grow, evolve, be better, give back, these things present an opportunity for you.
That's right. That's
so
right. Exactly.
Don't become something that make you feel victimized. They're something that make you feel empowered, because you recognize that there is a lesson there. I think that's an enormous paradigm shift. And I think it bears underlining and repeating, so that when things show up in our life, instead of catastrophizing or feeling victimized or feeling depressed, what you're saying is try to have an objectivity, look at our whole life, look at the trajectory, not that me that's right in it that second, but that sort of all-knowing you that's here for whatever period of time, that can recognize, I'm I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to grow from this.
Exactly.
I know looking back on my life now that I'm a little bit older, certainly some of the things that, made me feel, woe is me, have been my greatest opportunity for growth. In particular, going through having a daughter at 5 months old, diagnosed with cerebral palsy, developing epilepsy, having had to have brain surgery, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
With enough time, that has been, my greatest opportunity for growth. Going
Yeah.
through divorce, with, children, that was easy
Yeah.
to fall into the woe is me.
Yeah.
With maturity, you can see, wow, that was really an opportunity for growth. So what you're encouraging all of us to do is, even when we're in the midst of something, to try to maintain that objectivity, to see that this is in service of something bigger and better.
Right.
And
That's
even
exactly.
pandemic, which is
Yeah.
an opportunity to say, gee, what happened to us? This is horrible,
Yeah.
or to say, okay, here's the circumstances that are at hand. How can we grow through these circumstances? And what I'm
Yeah.
seeing a year and a half into the pandemic is a tremendous amount of growth.
That's right.
People's values are fundamentally changing, they're shifting. And yes, it's been so hard, but for many people, it's been an opportunity to reconnect with family, figure out what their values are. People are moving, people are getting educated in things that mean something
Right.
else to them
Oh
now.
my goodness. It is so amazing to me. Here we are you're in LA and I'm in New York. And we've created being on the beach. And
Yeah.
we're able to communicate, interact. I'm in the Philippines almost every other day, and I'm in India the other days, and I'm talking to people now that need communication. So we are moving in the right direction in causing the world to be better. We're changing the way that we think about fossil fuels. We're changing the way that we understand medicine, so that our lives can be extended for the reason of being able to make it better. So that we have more time to create, to invent, to fly to the moon and beyond and all over the place. Yeah. So I am so optimistic about it. And unfortunately, there is no doubt that there are forces out there that are challenges that need to be overcome. And this is one of them. One of them, which is getting people on board to this way of thinking and knowing and experiencing. This is a big challenge. So the way that I'm doing it for the time that I have for the next 100 years that I get to live. And is there any wood around here? None. All glass and steel. Anyway, but
Here, I'll do it for you.
oh, good. So it is to create initiatives to empower people through what I can do as bringing clarity to the process. And so the initiatives are, the way that the initiatives work is Brother Claus is for children. This is the idea of getting early adoption, both by teachers and their students, to the idea of the science of kindness, caring, and gratitude, the science of it. And I do it in the form of the way that I view, because children have come to me and said, you look like Santa Claus. So I decided to take on that wonderful myth and turn it into, yes, I am his soul brother. And we have lots of soul brothers and sisters throughout the world that are here to help you understand that the real gift in life is free. And I'm here to show you about how to empower the superpower within you, because you have the superpower within you, and I'm here to teach you. And of course, children are receptive to that. I tell it in storybooks that I started writing. And so the Brother Claus Initiative now is at the place where I'm looking for connections to large distributions like a PetSmart or a Petco that has hundreds of thousands, if not millions of they reach the 22 million children that are out there at the ages between ages of 5 and 12 that this book speaks to. So I've created a community, Brother Claus World, and there individuals can review the different books that they could either affiliate with. That is, they become an affiliate, they become a distributor, like a local shelter or a local groomer who loves the idea of dealing with the 1.5 million dogs and cats that are euthanized every year, to stop that mindset. Because there again, we're talking about the throwaway society, people who are just indifferent about living lives, and this in the form of pets. So that's one initiative. So the Brother Claus initiative starts on that end. And of course, we hope to reach the many, many children out there early on to adopt and understand this superhero within. So that's one initiative. The other one is the Living SOS initiative. Well, Living SOS is living a life with adopting a contributing mindset, which is a system that are based of principles that all you have to do is it speaks to the contribution to your body, to yourself. You must get to that place of understanding yourself, mind and body, the mechanics, and understanding how you are connected to everything, how everyone and everything you are connected. We are, we speak about the domain of the small to the large, and how it all connects. And they're basically information that's scientific already there. And I try to simplify it and bring some great individuals to the table that can speak about it, so that scientists are the ones that are talking about it, as well as doctors like yourself, come to really bring this system to their patients and to the people that we have there that are out there that come to us through our effort of getting people to the table, to have a support mechanism, which is a team, a global team of therapists that could be there to couch them and serve their needs of getting to this enlightenment. And that's the two major initiatives. Now, how we do that is, unfortunately, the biggest hurdle, which I'm now working on, is how do we finance this initiative, because it takes operational resources. Marketing costs money, editors cost money, all the things that we need to be able to create this. But because of my background of having built an investment bank and having built an internet media company, my business experience, I now finally get to use again in a way where I think that I can start putting those pieces together. But it is important to understand that this can't be done by alone. So I encourage everyone that likes the idea to play the game with us, to come on board, and this is the game that we need that we can have an opportunity to play. And it's early on, and I think within the next decade, I think that this will be something that can catch on, that a simple mindset like this can be part of an educational program, that it can be adopted by the gurus that are out there as part of their information. I'm hoping that some of the folks over at one of the trainings that I had done at Landmark, they have 3.5 million people there. They're a very progressive organization. And I think the SOS program should be in there and discussed and promoted. And there are lots of other organizations like this throughout the world that can just adopt, and this idea of having a collaboration about that, so that they already are in play to do that. There's a guy that you and I know, a fellow called Sadhguru, 500 million people worldwide following his teaching. And so it's all of that is great, but in getting down to making it simple for everybody to come to this conclusion is my purpose. And so I'm excited about it. I know that we have a project that Living a Satisfying Life, which is getting on board those professionals and those gurus and people really talking about this, so that we have from my side, because we have a door to be opened to have this conversation, which is know that you are an influencer to others, you are a healer to others, and that this mindset, to create a mindset for you and your patient, so that your patient has a starting point to be healed, because it would occur so much better and faster for them when they are in this perspective. They have this perspective. So the ability to have this program available for you and for your patients is a wonderful way to really stretch and have a scaling that can make a difference.
I admire your big thinking. You've really covered so much with all your initiatives, and you seem to have endless energy and enthusiasm.
I
Clearly
love the
doing
space
the right
I'm in.
thing. Yes, it's very clear that you're doing the right thing. And I think the important thing for listeners today is the very brief message, which is that you have the capacity, like Lou has tapped into, to live a very satisfying life. By understanding the nature of your biology, by taking charge of your biology, sleeping right, eating right, creating things that make you happy, and then to tap more into what Lou is talking about, which is becoming part of mankind, humankind.
Yeah.
And seeing yourself as part of a very big whole. And if you just simply wake up every day and say, how can I make my life better? How can I make the life of those around me better? That just that simple paradigm is enough to get you going on a path that will lead you to a very satisfying life.
You know, I wanted to share one thing more. I have gotten a nice email from someone, a text actually from somebody, a video that she created. This is a woman who has stage 3 COPD. And here she is at the gym with this tube inside her. And she has gotten Living SOS. And she's now sharing it online, saying, now here at this age, in my 70s, with this, I am not that disease. I am not those issues. I have a life to live, and I truly get that I'm I'm creating so much joy through the contribution that I make to others. And I'm here to share that for senior citizens, she says that your life, coming from the perspective that you have a contributing mindset, that your life will be so much abundant and feeling the joy and that comes with it. And so to me, it's an acknowledgement that people are doing that. So I've had that occur several times, and I'm hoping that this will just keep on growing and people will get that. And I think the world will be a better place in the future for it.
No question about that. And of course, the youth is a wonderful place to start. So I applaud you for trying to speak to our youth through this beautiful metaphor of Brother Claus, and that we're all here as brother and sister Clauses to make the world better for ourselves and those around us.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Lou.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for wonderful dialogue as always.